everyone. Welcome to 1111 of the Oracle May. Today, my guest is the beautiful Nobuhle N Nyoni. And instead of me telling you about her, she can tell you about herself. Tell us, who is Miss Nyoni?
Once upon a time, I thought I knew how to answer this question, but turns out I still don't know. So I'm going to do my best. So Nobuhle is one flawed human being who is on the journey of becoming. I am on a journey like everybody else, of getting to know myself a little bit better, trying to be a better person, trying to love wholly and truly. And I do that with every lesson that I learn. I do that through my writing. So you find it in my books, in my blogs, in my music to come. So yeah, basically that's me.
That's you?
It's all of me.
This is just my own curiosity, but how do you pronounce your other name? I've tried by myself, but I think I just butcher it. Like I butcher, so I don't even bother.
Which name is this one?
That one. That starts with a kuko, I think. I can't even do the sound.
Novizita.
Yeah. You know what? That sound has just never come out for me in anything I have tried. I've tried for 32 years. I have tried. Okay. So you mentioned a few things there, and I think, wow, I'm doing an interview and there's a noisy ass truck. But anyway, I think you missed out social media, did you not?
Do you see, the thing is, sometimes when I say everything that I do, people are like, what? That's a lot of stuff. I put up my LinkedIn has literally everything. So it's got personal blogger, it's got self-published author, it's got web designer, graphic designer, social media manager. And I remember this one guy once inboxed me and says, hey, your profile says you do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. What exactly do you do? So it kind of made me think, do I? And I was like, well, all of it. I do all of it. So I think that conversation made me a little scared to just put out everything at one go. So like I give people in like bite size, yeah. But yes, I do all of that as well.
Nah, don't be scared. We are not going to be scared. You do all that, please, please. So I'm gonna start with the social media and all the graphic design stuff. How did you get into that? The graphic designing, the managing people's pages, etc.
Well, once upon a time, I was jobless and stuck. And I was concentrating a lot on my writing, but I was a little frustrated because it didn't feel like my blog was going anywhere. It felt like people couldn't see my blogs. I was like, I'm working so hard. Oh my gosh, why can't people see what I'm doing? And then a friend said to me, well, that's because you're doing your social media updates all wrong. And so they kind of started guiding me on how to do it. And I started doing it for myself. I'm like, oh, this stuff actually works. And then, as I continued to practice, my friend then said to me, you realize you can also do this for other people and make money. And I'm like, did you say money? Yes. And
I thought that.
And then that's when I started talking to him like, hey, if I could do that for you, and I found that I actually enjoyed it until I didn't. So now I'm at a stage where I have dropped full management completely because Lord, it's a lot of work and people don't want to pay for it because they always say it's just posting and I'm like, no, it's not. It's really a lot of work.
It's not.
And now I'm in a phase where all I really do is to train people how to understand certain social media platforms, the ones that they don't understand, how to do a content calendar, what to post, how to write the right, copy for your stuff, etc. So that's where I'm at for social media now. I'm no longer doing the full management. Let that go.
All right. So did that stuff come natural to you, or were the trials heavy?
I think once I got the hang of it, it was very easy. I think because I'm also a writer, when it comes to like engaging people, it's so much easier. Copy then comes so much easier because the thing with social media is if you don't capture people with the first word or the first sentence, that's it. They're gone. They're not coming back. They're not going to, give you the time of the day. But you need to couple that with design. And I think that's something that's kind of natural when it comes to my family. My mom was a creative. She was a designer, fashion designer, interior decor designer. My sister is more on the fashion side. And so it's kind of like creativity is a thing for us. Even my grandmother was a fashion designer. So creativity kind of is in my blood. And so when you like join the two, design and copy together, you are bound to actually make it really, really work.
All right. And what do you enjoy most about creating websites, graphic design, and what did you enjoy about managing social media as well before it got to be too much? Because I know it can be too much.
With web design, I think web design and graphic design specifically, it's taking someone else's vision and actually bringing it to life and then being so excited. My last website that I've done, I think I finished it about last week. The lady called me and says, I can't believe you did this. I couldn't, because she wasn't so great at explaining what she wanted. But when she called me, she's like, I know I didn't say much, but like you actually did it. And she was so excited. And so I think it's that when someone has a vision, they write it down or they say it to you and you can sit down and actually bring it to life. And they're like, yes, that's the best part for me. When it comes to social media, I think I find now with where I'm at now, I think naturally I'm a helper. And so when I help someone to overcome something that they couldn't do, that couldn't figure out, and it actually starts bringing back conversions for them and it makes them happy and, feel like there's actual real growth, that's it for me.
That's interesting. I think people underestimate a brief. When you tell someone to brief me on what you want on your website or something, they really do mean briefs that we can bring your dreams to life. Because if you're just going to be like, yeah, I want it minimalistic. It's like, okay. And so, yeah. And without mentioning names, because I'm curious and probably like 1% petty. Those who know me do not comment on that. But anyway, without mentioning name, tell us about one disaster and what you learned from it.
I'm going to say, right, never ignore the red flags. Listen, your clients will give you that. And I made one mistake. In fact, do you know what? I actually did mention to this person. I said to them, I don't think I'm the right match for your brand, right? And they were so stubborn. No, you're the girl. We're going to do this. We're going to go fine. And that's because right at the beginning, there's so many things we didn't agree on and the brands were not aligning, right? And I was like, well, maybe I'm overreacting. So let's just do it. Did I not regret it? I was 1000% frustrated. I found myself at a point where I did not enjoy doing the work. It was like, oh God, I need to sort of do this. I don't like doing this anymore. And I think I tried, and I don't know why I stayed for so long. I was in a contract with this person for over 1 year. And then I was like, no, can't do it anymore. I am going to leave. So if you see the red flags, they are real. Just like in relationships, they are real. Just don't ignore. Okay.
Yeah, that not every customer is your customer. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Now, the next thing, you wrote a book based on your exes, situations about exes in relationships. How did that come about? I remember when I bought this book and I read it, I was like, chill, this girl just like put all the exes in here and just taught us the lessons. Like,
ooh, child. I think a lot of people, when you say it like that, a lot of people might think she was being petty.
No, actually, you have to read the book to understand. There are lessons in that. There are actually legit lessons of what she learned and what she took ownership of what he did wrong, of which many times we don't take ownership on our parts. So yeah, if please, the link will be in the bio. You best be buying and reading that book. But it's just, I was just wondering, because my exes, yeah. But anyway, continue. This is not about mine.
Oh gosh. I think I was at a point where a lot had happened, and I couldn't figure out. I felt unlovable, So I sat down and I was like, well, I did it that guy, and I did it that guy, and like this and then this that happened. So I just started writing it down, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a whole lot more to this than just human beings being human beings, including myself. You don't just become a certain person. You don't react to certain things a certain way. You don't just accept abuse, no matter what form it is in. There's something that's underlying, that's forcing you to be in that place. You're looking for something and you can't quite find it. And for me, it's because I lost my parents when I was 7, and my dad and I were best friends. And then the father figure that came to take his place was absolutely nothing like my dad. Zero. There was no emotional connection. There was no sitting around and joking, no sitting around and talking.
It was just
time I ever sat
whiplash.
down with men to talk was because it was just, if I sat down with them, it was because he was helping me with my homework. And that was also really terrible because he was impatient and he would just scream all the time. So there was that was missing. I was looking for my father. Yeah. And my father was very compassionate. He was kind. He was very present. You do anything good, he reminds you how great you are.
I can relate.
I was 7 when he passed on, and I can remember that. And so now I was looking for it. I wanted it so badly, and so wherever it came from a man, even if it meant that there's 3,000 other things that were missing, but if he gave me that,
just one,
it was enough for me. And I found myself settling for things that I shouldn't have settled for ever. And that's when it clicked. I was like, someone needs to hear this, because I can't possibly be the only person who has gone through this. Our fathers specifically are so disconnected to us, the children. They think being scary is respect. When my father figure would be like around the corner, we would hear his car and we would disappear. By the time he walks in, we are gone, And I think there's a lot of us African children who grew up to that. I can't speak for other cultures, but I think as African children, a lot of us went through that. Our fathers were so disconnected. They were so concerned about providing than connecting. And I think that's what I wanted to do, to say, hey, I know you're looking for validation, but the most important place you can find it is in yourself.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I get it on the compassionate father. I mean, my dad died when I was 23, and honestly, he was the best. And I think after the years of depression, I did actually look for kindness and someone who loved me entirely in other people, as opposed to looking for it in myself. And I think that's one of the things I actually did take from the book, because I was thinking to myself that, because my father spoke to me, he communicated, he loved me, he supported me, he cheered me on. Like, even if I did something wrong, yeah, he'd be pissed, but he would sit down and talk to you and try to get you to understand, this is where you went wrong, this is why it's wrong, this is how it's going to affect you should you wish to continue with what you're doing. Like, he would actually just explain it all, and you'd be like, at the end of it all, you'd be like, I'm so sorry, I was so wrong. And you would actually think it, but these are like the lessons that I also impart on other people, which is why I always say that some of the advice I give people is not from me, it's from my father, but it's passed down to me. And I do understand that. I think a lot of people look for missing links, even if you don't find them. If from scratch, you perhaps do not have a certain type of love from a parent, you will probably look for it in another person, and it's something that you have to notice Otherwise, like you said, you could ignore like a field of red flags and be clinging onto the one light pink. It's not even white, it's light pink. And you're like, he does this, right? Or no, but she's down with me for this. And you're like, boy, if you don't. But anyway.
If you don't.
Did any of the exes come and ask you how far after you published that book?
Yeah, not how far. The question was, am I in the book? And every time I said yes, they'll be like, right. And some would say, okay, I'm gonna go buy it. I know one said, I really want, if I could, I would buy all the copies and never let anybody else read. And I said, well, it's not like it's all bad, you know. I know.
And you didn't put their name.
Like I was saying, I didn't use their names. I didn't. But the thing is, people think when I wrote it, I was just bashing them. Most of them think I was just bashing them in the book. They don't realize that I also took responsibility. It's possible that I never went back to them personally to say, hey, when we did it, I actually really did this wrong, but it's all in the book. And so they assumed that I was just like, hey, this nigga, you know? Yeah.
And what did you learn from publishing your first book? One lesson.
Take your time to write. I think I didn't, when I read it now, the full book, I'm like, I should have really taken my time to write this book, and just go through it all over again. I think there's a few things that I missed in there. There's some chapters that I think I cut short that I could have given a whole lot more.
You can always republish, girl. I'll still buy it.
I know, girl. I've been thinking of doing, you know, a second edition to it, just longer and better written, better edited ish. Because I saw typos and I was like, girl, what is this?
When that happened,
I think it's something that I needed to do. It definitely showed me rather, that I could do anything that I wanted to do. And I'm still absolutely proud of it. The people who've read it have come back to say, hey, you really helped me go through this and that and realize a couple of things. So it's not a bad thing after all.
And I think some people have been asking you, but I'm also asking, and you did mention a second edition. When is the next one coming?
Whew. I'm stuck between two ideas, which I cannot talk about right now. One of them is a book, one of them is something else. So I don't know what I'm going to give you guys next year, right around my birthday, which is
next year.
I just need to figure out what I should give to you guys.
The way I'm shook that you said next year, but we're only in April, and then this chick like, I don't know what I'm giving you next year. I'm like,
Next year, guys. June 27th, you're gonna ask something. I just don't know what it is yet.
Alrighty. And then what does Nobu do in her free time to unwind?
Child, I eat. Does that count?
Well, you cook and eat, so don't you do the whole process?
I do the whole process. I'm a lover of cooking. It helps me, you know, refresh. Netflix and chill. Music. Love music. There's times when I just stay in my bed and I play music and I close my eyes and I drift away. So that's me when I'm unwinding.
Alrighty. And the last question. Wow, like 20 minutes has gone by really fast.
Really? Last question?
Yeah. What did your book teach you about love? One thing that you can impart.
Oh, that you can't chase it and you can't force it. That's it.
Someone out there is going to be like, did you have to read me like that?
Yeah, you can't chase it, can't force it. Stop.
No, but I I completely endorse that. I saw a tweet of how do you think your ancestors and your family feel to see you just messaging that one person over and over again and chasing, just humiliating yourself. It's like, and I was like, I've been that person before. I think we've all been that person. If you're saying you haven't been that person,
Yeah.
you're lying. We've all been
You're
that
lying.
and yeah. But anyway, thank you for chatting with me on this channel of mine. And for all the people who want to buy her book or perhaps hire her services, all of her links will be below. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and holla at my girls' social media. And I promise you, you will learn something either about your brand, your page, or yourself. The self part, yeah, it's that healing. But anyway, thank you so much, Nobu.
Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.